You haven't been okay for a while. You think it's something that you can just shake off. It'll get better. You're being stupid. No one else feels like this. You begin to isolate yourself. This bad feeling is the only thing you can think about. You don't want to meet people because what will you talk about? What will you say? Surely not the truth. It's too painful. So you just stay silent, but it kills you inside. Welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. It's National Conversation Week, and today we're exploring the importance of talking and why everyone says it's good for our mental health. Here to give us an overview of the mental health implications of talking is Dr. Audrey Tang. We have Dr. Rob Hicks on the show talking to us about the importance of opening up to our doctors, and Autism correspondent Anna Kennedy tells us what she's been up to with her guest and member of the R&B band Brovaz John-Paul J-Rock Horsley. Severine Menem gives us a healthy recipe and answers your viewer questions, and Helena Chard fills you in on the latest in Feel Good News. And looking at the importance of talking from another perspective, I'll be giving you some tips on how to create dialogue with your partner if things haven't been going too well. A lack of communication can spell disaster for any relationship, so let's talk about that too. Now, we've heard it all before. When we have a problem, we should talk about it. But is this easier said than done? Well, according to an article by The Independent, people with mental health issues express language in different ways in comparison to those who are mentally more healthy. Reporting on a study made by scientist Mohammed Al-Mosawi, the content of our language can be used to detect those with depressive moods. Those with symptoms of depression use an excessive amount of words conveying negative emotions such as lonely, sad, or miserable. They also use more first-person pronouns such as me, myself, and I, and significantly fewer second and third-person pronouns such as they, them, or she. This suggests that people with depression are more focused on themselves and less connected with others. Researchers have reported that pronouns are actually more reliable in identifying depression than negative emotion words. It has also been reported on Psychology Today that the area of the brain that processes language is also impaired when people are suffering with depressive moods and feelings, making the physical act of talking difficult in itself. So what do you guys think on Twitter? Mr. DT understands the struggle, saying, I see a lot of people on my timeline talking about depression. I know it's easy to say, but if you're ever feeling low, talk to someone. Tomorrow my cousin is being buried after taking his own life 2 weeks ago. Believe me, I know how tough life gets. You're not alone. Lawrence says depression, BPD, anxiety, anorexia, OCD, schizophrenia, and many, many more mental illnesses are nothing to be ashamed of. We need to get comfortable with talking about this. We must not wait for another tragedy to spark up conversation about mental illness. Cleo isn't having it. Gave people a talking to on the train today because I overheard them talking about someone with depression and saying how she should just snap out of it. Babe, you can't just snap out of it, it's an illness. You don't tell someone to snap out of cancer, do you? Infuriates me. So some very interesting thoughts there, but what does our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, have to say? Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
So another very important topic.
Yes, always good to talk.
Always good to talk. Definitely, that's what our programme is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So in terms of communication skills, is that affected when people go through mental illness?
It can be. First of all, you might have some physiological reasons why our communication's affected. So, for example, if someone has dementia, that can cause confusion, that can make the person forget very common words, common phrases. Similarly, if somebody has a kidney infection or diabetes and hasn't taken their insulin, that can lead to confusion too. So there are some physical illnesses, first of all, that can cause problems with our communication. But also, if we have depression or something like that, what can happen is our language can become very negative. We may talk to ourselves in very harsh language, which isn't very good for our mental health and well-being. The biggest problem that affects most people with a mental illness is that there's still a stigma about talking, so we are actually afraid to talk. And it may be because we're expecting that someone might judge us, or we're actually just not sure how they're going to respond. It isn't that long ago when people might say, oh, I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and someone might turn around and say, oh, well, you don't look like a psycho, and that's not helpful behaviour. So it's very important to know that if you are going to talk, then talk to the right people. try and find somebody who is going to be a little bit more supportive and understanding. And of course, the problem is, when it comes to families, when it comes to cultures, whilst we say it's good to talk, if your culture, if your family doesn't accept a mental illness, then you may talk about it, but where do you go from there?
This is really important what you're saying, actually, Audrey, because I remember when I spoke to a counsellor, I didn't feel understood and I didn't feel cared for. And it kind of made me feel worse. But then when I did find people that I felt understood me and were supportive, then how I felt was completely different, and it was more like relief.
Absolutely.
Whereas the first experience was more, it made me more anxious.
Yes.
It made me feel more alien in a sense.
Yes, I think what people also need to understand is there's very different types of counsellors out there. There's different styles of psychiatry, different styles of psychology, and it is important to find the person that suits you.
Exactly.
Because you might find somebody who practices and is wonderful at what they do, but if it doesn't suit you, it's not going to be appropriate.
So it's worth actually, if you like I said, if you find someone that I don't know, for whatever reason you don't relate to, then look for someone else.
Absolutely.
Find someone,
And it's the same thing for the counsellor as well. If you cannot relate to that person, or perhaps if they're triggering something in you where you maybe haven't dealt with it yet yourself, it is best not to continue treatment.
Now, suppose that you do find someone that you feel comfortable to talk to and everything. What does that do to someone psychologically?
Well, it's actually really wonderful in that when you connect with somebody, you get a bit of a hit of oxytocin, that bonding hormone, and so it builds those bonds of trust, and that can make us feel a lot better generally. It makes us feel heard, it makes us feel accepted, so that's absolutely wonderful. Another important thing is that it allows us to feel that we aren't alone, because if somebody's able to signpost us in the right direction, or they're able to say, oh, I know a support group that's going to help you, you suddenly feel, oh my goodness, I'm relieved I've actually said something because I now know I can deal with it. And sometimes actually admitting something means you can start dealing with it, because whilst it's just in our heads, it's not necessarily real. So we can actually start moving forward from that. It's very important.
And just finally, are there any downsides to talking about your problems?
Yes, if we don't realise how people like to communicate, it can cause problems. So, for example, men and women communicate very differently. Women often like to talk, men like to do, which does mean that if a man is doing and a woman wants to talk, it doesn't mean they're feeling the emotion any less just because they're behaving differently. Differently. So that's very important. Another issue actually comes with being able to listen. We don't listen very well to other people. And when someone shared something with you, if we're just going, oh, yeah, that isn't actually helping them. So one thing I would advise when it comes to communication is learn to listen to. And there's 4 levels of listening. There's hearing, which is the one where you know something's going on and you're just thinking about what you're having for dinner. There is listening, where you're actually able to repeat the last thing someone said, but not much else has gone through. Active listening, where you're asking questions, you're engaging with what they're saying. But the most important one is deep listening, and that's listening with all of your other senses. So while someone may be talking and explaining what's going on, by looking at their body language, looking at how they're responding, if they're doing something different, something unusual, you can learn a lot more. So practice listening as well. Brilliant.
Maybe we should talk about that one day in more depth. That's a good one. All right, Audrey, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, everybody, now it's time for Dr. Rob Hicks talking to us about the importance of opening up to your doctor about things that bother you in this week's Doctor's Orders.
Hello and welcome to Doctor's Orders here at the Chrissy B Show. I'm Dr. Rob Hicks. Today we're going to be talking about opening up when you go and consult with your doctor, and the importance of being open when you're asked questions, or indeed when you want to find out what the problem is that you're suffering from. Being a doctor is very much like being a detective, really. What we do is we gather clues, put these together in order to try and make the diagnosis. So if you think about when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, it's only when you've got all the pieces put together correctly that you see the full picture. And that's what it's like in medicine. You see the full picture so you can make the diagnosis and actually then give the most appropriate treatment to a patient. So that's why it's important that when you go and see your doctor, you open up, that you tell the doctor all the information that you can, and then the doctor will go through that information, they'll sift through it, and they'll decide what's the most important bits of information and actually which are less important. The other thing to think about is that often patients will say, well, I didn't think that was very important, I thought it was an insignificant fact. But we'll find that it's that insignificant bit of information that actually is the key to solving the puzzle, to making the diagnosis and therefore being able to offer the best treatment. So always give lots of information to the doctor. That's really, really very helpful. Now, one of the things that many patients feel is actually embarrassed to open up. They're embarrassed about the symptoms, they're embarrassed to actually confess what they've been doing or indeed just share the information. But really, there's no need to be embarrassed. Your doctor, he or she, is likely to have heard it all before anyway, and they certainly won't be embarrassed, so you shouldn't be either. Another thing is patients say, well, I feel a bit guilty about the way I'm feeling, or I feel ashamed about the way I'm feeling. For example, when they're feeling depressed. Well, there's no reason to feel that way, because taking depression as an example, it's not your fault, you've not done anything wrong, it's a medical condition. So once again, make sure that you open up and you say all the information without feeling embarrassed. But if you are feeling a little bit awkward about talking about embarrassing things, or indeed things that you don't feel quite comfortable about, why not rehearse what you're going to say beforehand, or indeed write it down so you can simply read it to the doctor, because a lot of patients find that a bit easier. Another reason why people don't open up is actually they're frightened. They're frightened about what the doctor might say or what the diagnosis might be. Now, what I would advise you in that scenario is actually the majority of health problems are relatively minor and they're easily treated. However, the longer you take to get them diagnosed, the worse they're likely to get, the harder they're likely to be for treatment. And so this is why it's important to seek advice early on and actually share the information you've got with your doctor. When it is a serious condition, then of course the sooner it's diagnosed and treated, the better. In fact, even when it's not a serious condition, it's a minor problem, the sooner it's diagnosed and treated, the better as well, because otherwise you just spend a lot of wasted time worrying and getting stressed about things. So that's my advice to you. When you go and see a doctor, be open, share all the information you can to help your doctor make the diagnosis of your problem and give you the right treatment. And that's doctor's orders.
Well, don't go away, because after the break we talk to resident autism correspondent Anna Kennedy about what she's been up to, along with her guest John-Paul J-Rock Horsley of R&B band Brovaz. But first, how many words can an 18-month-old toddler say? Is it A, 10, B, 20 or C, 40? Find out the answer after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your TV program for all things mental health and well-being. Now, before the break, we asked you, how many words can an 18-month-old toddler say? Is it A, 10, B, 20 or C, 40? The answer is 20. According to kidshealth.org, babies start talking at around the age of 6 months and will quickly continue to add to their vocabulary. By the time they are 2, they are capable of describing simple situations and even capable of expressing how they feel. So be sure to listen to your children at an early age when they talk about how they feel. Well, now it's time for my very special guest. We have our resident expert Anna Kennedy on, and she's brought on her special guest John-Paul J-Rock Horsley. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the program.
Nice to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you both on. So before we speak to you, J-Rock, because you've got a story to tell us as well, and how obviously you met Anna. First of all, we'd like to hear from Anna about the updates. What's been happening?
Well, I've been a busy bee as usual.
Really? I've guessed.
Just back from the northeast. I sort of amalgamated a long weekend with Angelo to the cabin, but then also went to visit...
Angelo's your son. So
Angelo, my son, who's 25 now and has autism. We went to Daisy Chain, which is a charity I'm patron of, so I thought I had a long weekend away, but I went to visit Daisy Chain. It's an amazing charity, supports 2,000 families, so I had a look, a little bit of an update of what they've been doing. I go to see them sort of 2-3 times a year. I support them with any events that they've got going on. So I went to Daisy Chain, which I always love going there, and Angelo loved jumping on their trampoline, which they've got outside.
And so then, did you, I bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also went to Manchester to see a young man called Matty Street, which I've got a little video on to show you.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's take a look.
Hi, I'm at Team Carton today. I'm so excited, and I'm here with Matty.
and he is the CEO of this fabulous place. Does it matter if a child is quite severely autistic or?
No, we've got a number of different tools, so we can coach them into it and sort of let them see the place, meet the staff, see what will happen beforehand, and then slowly bring them into it, give them a helmet to try before they come, wear a race suit, things like that.
Okay, so I first met you at the Autism Hero Awards, which was in November, and we had a fantastic window, Sandro. So tell me a little bit about his journey with Team Karting.
So Sandro, local lad, lives 2 minutes down the road in Rochdale. He first started getting into karting with us. His dad allowed him to experience it in a few car parks around the industrial estates. But his first experience on a real track, I would say, was at Team Karting. He only started when he was 7.
So is that what's the age group then, starting here?
For here it's 8 years old.
8,
But we really go off height, so it's if you've got the physical strength to be able to control the car.
If anyone's interested in coming along to Team Karting, if you live in the area, where are we at?
Rochdale.
We're in Rochdale, and it's a great place, and do you know what, it's just something really positive. It's got great vibes, got a great feel about the place. So I'm so proud to be here at Team Karting.
Our karting journey's been it's been long, it's been hard at times, but I feel that the things that Sandro has got from it, it's just led to incredible things. I'm just very proud of what he's achieved in the sport, but not only that, all the other things that it's brought to him socially, new experiences, a new level of confidence, and it's just led to a lot of other things happening in his life, which is really positive.
My name is Sandro Ballesteros, and I'm a race driver. I got this from Austin Riley and his dad Jason, and I received it at the Autism Hero Awards all the way down in London.
So Matty's great. Matty's a young man. He has Asperger's syndrome. He has got dyslexia and dyspraxia. So he owns his own company. I'm just so impressed with him at 21 years old. He's amazing. And I can see him doing lots of stuff.
Wow.
One other thing I'm doing at the moment as well is I'm working with Amnesty UK, because it's the Year of the Woman. So we're looking for 100 women across the country, because they're putting a map together of somebody who's really fighting for their cause and made a difference within their community. So that's quite exciting. So 3 women have been chosen to lead the campaign. So there's myself and 2 other ladies. So you'll be able to see that very soon.
Busy.
Yeah. So lots of other stuff going up as well.
Alrighty, so now let's speak to Jrock. So how are you? Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
So tell me, how did you meet Anna? How did the 2 of you know each other?
Well, I met Anna about 2 years ago, just after my son and I had done a piece for the Guardian newspaper about my son's autism. Anna reached out to me and we became very close friends after that. She's an amazing lady that does so many amazing things for the autistic community, so we clicked immediately.
Okay. Tell us about your son and the condition that he has. How was it for you finding out that he had autism, and how have you dealt with it?
Well, my son was diagnosed properly at age 2, but we knew that his development wasn't on par with other children at his age very early, maybe by the time he was 1. So by the time he was 1.5, we were discussing with the doctors like what is happening with our son, and they suggested that we see if he's on the autistic spectrum, go for a diagnosis and what have you. At the time, again, I still didn't realize what autism was. I didn't know how to identify it myself. So I was like, it's impossible he could have autism. None of my family have autism. It doesn't run in our genes. We're not like that kind of thing.
It's a bit of denial there.
Absolutely, like massive denial. But as the process was going on and the doctors were telling us about the symptoms, about the ways you can recognize it, I was like, when I was growing up, I had this exact same thing. So at that point, I started to, realize that I was probably also on the spectrum.
And did you actually go and find out for sure?
Yeah. I was diagnosed by Professor Simon Baron-Cohen at Cambridge, and it was a pretty definite diagnosis as well, because we had tests on the ears, tests on the eyes, tests on pretty much everything, ability to cope with change and stuff like that. and I scored amazingly high on everything, more than most people that are on the spectrum, to be fair.
Okay.
But because of the way I am able to, I suppose, navigate the world and stuff like that, I was diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a high-functioning type of autism.
Does that help you though in any way? Because sometimes people say, well, I've had people on, for example, with conditions like ADHD, and they said it actually kind of enhances certain areas of their life, or they're more creative or things like that.
I think the symptoms that I have actually make me feel like Superman. I have like amazing hearing, my eyes are amazing, like I don't need these for vision. Like, you know, exactly. Well, it's just so the lights don't give me migraines and stuff like that. I'm very light sensitive, you see.
Yeah.
So with all of these things, it's helped me become a musician. Like, you know, before myself, I didn't know any other autistic people that had sold 3 million albums and stuff like that. So again, it makes me feel like Superman rather than diagnosis of a disability.
Okay. Tell us about your music career as well.
Well, I've always been interested in rhyming, and I suppose the repetition of rhyming made me feel good. So I was always writing poems, writing rhymes, and I suppose when I got older and I started tinkering with drums and stuff like that, production, I really liked the repetition of production. And another thing that I was diagnosed with is synesthesia. So if I'm thinking of like music, I can see it, and I'm able to and I'm able to manipulate it from there.
Oh wow, so it's actually added to your talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what was interesting as well was when we were working on a single last year, which is John-Paul's single of Baby Boy, he was working with about 5 or 6 of the of our singers from Autism's Got Talent.
That's right.
And you could see how they were chatting to each other and they sort of just clicked, and there was a bit of banter going on.
This is it.
You know, so that and also they asked about, you know, what's it like to perform on stage, you know, how do you feel, all those sort of things. So they were able to share, you know, experiences, which is good for them. Brilliant. It's also good for you.
Definitely. Like, I'm sure a lot of autistic people, although you would think that sounds and loud noises would irritate someone on the spectrum,
that's what you learn about, isn't it?
It's not always the truth, you know. For me, I thrive in loud environments and stuff like that. Not necessarily if 100 people are talking, but if 20 people are talking, I can pick up the sense in every one of those conversations, which, you know, it causes me to overload or want to overload. But, you know, I'm almost 40 now, I'm 39. So over the years, I've developed techniques in which to, you know, deal with it when I feel like I'm about to overload or whatever,
Yeah, that's why some people that when they're out in the community, they're desperately trying to deal with whatever's around them. Then when they go home, they just sort of shut down. I need some quiet, you know, or they go off to the room or do whatever it is to help them chill out. And that's why children sometimes in mainstream schools, they're hanging on by their fingernails because they're trying to deal with everything around them. And then when they go home, they've got to release somewhere. So that's why sometimes then, you know, there's anxieties or there's anger issues. It could be that mum has to deal with them because that's a comfortable place to do it. It's a safe place to do it. So that's
especially when they can't do it at school because the teachers don't understand and then they get into trouble. And
that's right. Yeah. So I've spoken to so many parents and adults themselves where they feel like when they go home they just need to shut down. Or even I know one person that just goes to sleep straight away for about half an hour, and it's just like then they wake up and they feel so much better because they even have to teach themselves how to make eye contact. Some they have to practice. Because, because obviously there's something a bit difficult. If you're in the workplace, people expect you to make eye contact. So
Anna, what was it about Jrock that you really liked when you first met?
I think he's got quite a soothing voice, first of all.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, he has got quite a soothing voice. And there's quite a few adults that I do speak to on the spectrum. I just like the tone of their voice. It's quite calming for me. I don't know why.
I wasn't expecting you to say that till I was like, oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so, but also because I saw the way he was talking about his son and how passionate he was about his son. So you don't often hear a lot of fathers that talk about their sons. It's usually the mums that you see in the newspaper or on television. So I just thought it'd be great to have a role model, if you like, for the charity that can talk about his experiences. And now especially he's got a diagnosis, because as you know, most of my patrons and charity ambassadors are either on the spectrum, because I look for role models, because a lot of the families, parents, you know, can't see light at the end of the tunnel. So it just sort of, you know, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. You know, obviously I do know it's difficult, you know, I have the t-shirt, but I was just looking for someone that sort of a little bit same mindset as me, that, you know, focusing on the positive. You know, we know all about, as I say, the doom and gloom stories. But it's time to focus on positive stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You've got the perfect example here.
Thank you.
What about future collaborations, things that you're going to do together?
I'll leave that to you, Connie.
Well, we have a single coming out. It's one of my classic hit records. It was called Baby Boy. It's going to be coming out for World Autism Awareness Week, which is the 26th of March. So look out for that. It's going to be available to pre-order from the 10th.
Okay, brilliant.
So that's exciting for our young singers, giving them an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Okay. And Anna, I have to ask you what's coming up and things in the future. You've got a paper there for us, haven't you?
I'm working on the Autism Expo, which is not very long. So that's on March the 10th. So we have speakers. John-Paul's one of our speakers. We've got clinics, so if parents need advice on legal advice, might be occupational therapy, all free. And then we have stands, so families that might have set up stands, might be selling sensory equipment or whatever it is. So it's a great place to come along, network, have a walk around, have a listen to some of the speakers, and sort of, you know, network really. And I think it's important to network, because there's a lot of families out there just feel really isolated, and they haven't got you know, people to share strategies with, or does your child does this, or does your adult does this, or what does he do when he does this? So that's
so
what
important, isn't
it is. It's very important. So it's on March the 10th at Brunel University. So Autism's Got Talent is the main show, and I'm really excited that we've finally chosen our performers. Yay! So we've got performers from all over the country, and we've actually got 2 performers from America.
Amazing. So we've got their names up on the screen now.
We have, I've got them all here, and I'm guarding them. So I'm so excited. Our team gets so excited when we talk about Autumn's Got Talent, the main show. So what we do is we have new performers, but we also bring a couple back from when we very first started in 2012 to see how they're getting on.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on
again.
Jrock, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for sharing your story as well.
No worries
we'll see you
at all.
Soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody, well, don't go away, because after the break, we have our resident nutritionist, Severine Menem, giving us a healthy recipe and also answering your nutritional questions, including this one. Are protein shakes dangerous? I'm drinking double my usual amount to bulk up, and I'm worried it will affect my health in the long run. Find out what Severine has to say about this after this break. I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, the program that loves to look after your mental health and well-being. So now it's time for our segment with our lovely nutritionist, Severine Menem. Hello, Severine.
Hi, Chrissy. Good evening.
I'm looking forward to your recipes because they're always lovely and yummy.
Oh, great.
You've got another great one for us today, haven't you?
Yes, I hope
you're making.
Cucumber salad. I hope you will like it.
Okay, but it's not just any salad, is it? It's very
No, it's lots of flavor, because there is coriander and then peanut butter and honey and soy sauce. So yes.
And we are going to use a spiralizer.
Yes, that's the fun bit.
Okay, so you're kind of like making noodles then, is it?
Yes, that's the idea.
All right. So why good ingredients? Tell us what they're good for.
Cucumber. Do you like cucumber?
I do.
Okay, great. For me, cucumber is not a great vegetable, because it tastes nothing, but it's super cool for the digestion, because it's water and fiber, and that's all we need. So it's always a very good vegetable for that. And then we've got coriander, which has so much flavor, but it's also good in fibers, vitamin A, C, K, magnesium, iron. It's sort of like, it's got pretty much everything you need, and the flavor is just like, wow.
It is.
It's like takes you to a different country.
It does. People don't understand it.
Yes. And then everything else is peanut butter is good because it's high in protein and fats, so it will keep you full. A bit of sweetness of honey, a bit of different taste from the soy sauce, and lime.
The lime.
I love lime.
Me too. Okay, so let's take it away. Show us what
Let's
you're gonna
start it. Okay, let's start with the dressing.
Okay.
Ideally, you prepare the dressing and then you leave it in the fridge for all the flavor to set together, but we'll prepare it first. And so that's approximately a quarter of cup of peanut butter.
Okay.
And then we will add a bit less of honey, or you can add maple syrup.
Okay.
The idea is to
sweet,
have something
basically.
sweet.
Okay. Maybe even things like agave as well. You can add, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the idea. So it's a bit slow to.
If it comes out of the jar.
It will.
Yeah, there you go.
It will. Which dressing do you usually use?
To be honest, most of my salads are just quite simple with olive oil, lemon, and salt. Or if not lemon, I use vinegar or salmon vinegar or apple cider vinegar because I know that's good for you.
Super healthy. Yeah.
But then I see things like this and I think I must do this at home, and then I forget. I just go back to my normal normal dressings.
It needs a bit of experimenting to figure out, the right dosage and.
But I know I'm going to love this.
You keep saying that.
I really know. I can just see. I can just genuinely. Not just because I'm hungry.
Hope you're going to love it. Okay, so I'll start with just mixing it a bit, but that's probably not enough liquid. So I'll add 1 tablespoon of. God, why do I forget?
Dark soy sauce.
Yes, or the name of this ingredient today. So
I buy an organic soy sauce because a lot of them have a lot of nasties in them.
Yes,
so I always look at the label.
Last time. So that's. And if you can have it with reduced sugar, reduced salt, that could be great as well.
Yeah.
But usually you can't have it with everything you want.
Yeah, it's true. As long as you look for the healthiest option that you can.
You have to spend a bit of time reading labels, but
yeah.
You can do that. Okay, so that's mixing a bit.
It smells so good.
Yes.
I know, just soy sauce and like a bit of peanut butter.
Okay,
it smells good.
So
the combination is great.
Ooh.
This is how they make satay stuff, isn't it?
Yes, peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oops. So between half a lemon and lime. So I don't know. Let's start with half of it because this lime is really, really big. And then I tend to add a bit of water.
Okay.
Or oil.
Just to loosen it a bit.
Yes, but I think
we'll show the viewers the consistency in a minute so they can have a look.
So obviously you have to start it the first time and adapt it to your liking the second time.
Yeah. Okay.
But
you could add ginger in this, couldn't you, as well?
Yes.
That'll be really good.
You can.
I've got a whiff of ginger. I know there's no ginger in it, but it seems like a kind of a gingery smell.
Very well. Or you can have some chopped peanuts as well for the crunchiness.
Okay, that looks nice.
Or you can have like just crunchy peanut butter.
See the consistency.
So I think that would be great.
Very nice. There you go.
Okay, so we're good with the dressing. Let's move on to spiralizing. Do you want to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Just move this over here.
Okay.
Sorry. Just so people can see what you're doing. Oh, here we go. Okay.
So the idea is we need to just place it here. Fix the cucumber between this bit, and this one.
I've got a hand spiralizer. I haven't used it since I bought it, but
since you're going to do it,
okay.
Are you left hand?
No, right. It's okay. Don't worry. Let me try.
Okay,
if I get it wrong, I'll get you to come. So hang on.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not moving.
It's supposed to move. If you press a bit more.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it on this side. Let me do the other side.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay. So I press and I.
Yes.
I bet you wish you'd done this now. Oops.
Look.
Is it coming out? I can't see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Severine, you're funny. You're really cheering me on. Yeah, it's good. Keep going.
It's great. It's coming out. You've got to deserve this.
She's Mrs. Motivator at the moment. Okay.
Salad.
It's a good workout as well, guys, for your arms, by the way. Oh my goodness, look.
No, it's perfect.
Okay. I'll just stay there. Let me hold it here.
Oh,
there you go.
Electric one, but this one is fun.
No, this is good. Once you hold it in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that enough?
Yes. So that's half of a cucumber. Okay. We've got the second half to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit juicy.
Down about,
So you can also squeeze it
Take the water out.
To set the water out.
Okay.
But as I said, cucumber are great because they have lots of water and fiber. So if you remove the water, you're missing half of it.
Okay.
Half of the good stuff.
So how was it again? Like this, wasn't it?
Yes. Fix it to the side.
I'm getting to be a pro now, everybody.
Yes, you are.
Look at that.
Yeah, see? Now you know how it's done.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Should get the hang of it. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
Oh, she says.
Oopsie. So good. Lots of fun tonight.
Apart from making a complete mess, I'm so sorry, everybody.
No.
What can you see?
It's all good. So we've got the cucumber.
Okay, should we swap sides again? We'll come this side.
Sorry.
I'll just pick up the honey pot that I dropped. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good. And we are going to chop some coriander. It's already partially chopped, but I like to chop it a bit more.
Keep talking, Severine.
Yes, to release some flavor. I mean, it depends. Some people, they like sleeves. I'm not too leaves.
Oh, it'd be nice to have
ready?
a plate to plate up. We forgot the plate.
We forgot a plate.
Maybe a producer somewhere from somewhere will just run in with a plate. Maybe if we wish really hard, it's going to happen.
Yes, who knows?
Will a plate just appear from nowhere? Because this is looking absolutely amazing.
Yes, I like it.
So am I stirring to your
No, it's great.
liking?
Yes. I think.
Oh, it looks like proper noodles.
Yes.
Look.
That's
See
the
everybody?
idea of
Hang on,
a
let me turn it.
spiralizer.
Oh, wow. Hang on, I'm not getting the angle right. Sorry. Hang on. Try again. That's why. Okay. Shall I plate up?
Yes.
I just felt.
I'm sorry about the mess.
No, don't worry. It's okay.
Okay.
Your fault. It's the watery cucumbers.
Yes.
Oh dear, I didn't plate up very well, did I?
It looks great.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it smells so nice.
Oh my goodness.
I know you're really hungry,
That
so
is.
I hope you will like it.
I shall try it. I can't try it now though, isn't it? I'm going to
Yeah.
make a complete mess. Guys, look at that. Beautiful, healthy, filling, I would say, because of
super
the
healthy
because
and
of the
super filling. Yes.
yeah,
Of the
it's got
peanut butter.
everything. And I can't wait to try it. I'm sure it's amazing. Thank you so much,
You're
Severine. But
very
we're not going to
welcome.
let you go yet.
Okay.
Because we do have some questions
Okay.
from some of our viewers. So the first one is the one that I read out before the break. This person's asking, are protein shakes dangerous? I'm drinking double my usual amount to bulk up and I'm worried it will affect my health in the long run.
Okay. So protein shakes are not meant to be dangerous.
Okay.
But some
Sorry,
brands
I'm
are.
talking.
Some brands are not the best. You have to check the
Yeah,
ingredients
yeah.
and the excipients, and then you can figure out, if it's a good brand or not.
Beautiful.
Good.
Gorgeous.
The recommendation is to have 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So a kilogram of body weight of your ideal weight, not if you're overweight.
Okay, right.
So
it's good you mentioned that.
So they recommend that not more than 100 grams of protein per day. And if you do a lot of sport or you're an athlete, maybe you can go up to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight.
Okay.
But you will start noticing that you're having too much proteins in the short term because you will have bad breath, your hair is falling, and then constipation. And in the long term, for someone who has some predisposition, that might be a problem because they can get into kidney stone, kidney failure, or even certain cancer.
Okay.
So, yes, you can do damage in the long term.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Next question. Is it bad to eat citrus fruits first thing in the morning? Will eating too many oranges, for example, harm my stomach acidity?
Okay, again, if you've got a problem, such as a stomach ulcer or something with a problem with esophagus, it's not a good idea. Otherwise, I highly recommend to have citrus in the morning, first thing, such as a cup of warm water with the juice of half a lemon or freshly squeezed orange juice.
Okay.
And the reason for that is kicks off the digestion. So for people who have a problem with bowel movement, what really helps to go every day is to have that.
Okay.
It helps also because it's really good with the immune system, so it's boosted, and also for the skin. Vitamin C helps with the collagen, so you get a much nicer skin.
Brilliant. Okay, so go for it if you don't
Yes.
have any problems with acidity in.
Yeah, just if you know you have a problem with acidity, don't do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Okay.
it should be fine.
Brilliant. And the last question for today, what is the meat with the least health benefits? I'm trying to cut back, but don't really know which meats to avoid. Also, what are the best meats to eat?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. And I have to say, meats are just like every other vegetable or fruit. They all have a different nutritional panel.
Okay.
So it's really hard to say which one is best because they're all good. Mm-hmm. But if they want to reduce meat, I would give 4 recommendations. The first one is you can start with having lean meat, because the fat is where the toxins are. So if you remove that you will be better. Second one is to go organic, because organic meat has less antibiotics, less vaccines, so it's healthier. The third point is you're going to have so much beneficial benefits from just rotating and changing meat all the time. And also you will not get bored. And finally, if you're reducing your protein from animal origin, don't forget to increase your protein from vegetable.
Okay, very good
so pulses, beans, lentils, but also nuts and seeds are really good for proteins.
That's great. Severine, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And everybody at home, if you'd like to have more information about Severine, please do head over to our website, chrissybshow.tv, and just scroll down on the homepage. And also, if you have any questions for any of our nutritionists, you can email us on nutrition@chrissybshow.tv. Well, don't go away, because after the break, Helena Chard gives us the latest in feel-good news, and I'll be giving you some tips on how to create dialogue with your partner if things haven't been going too well. But first, is this true or false? Talking to yourself is a sign of madness. What do you think? Find out the answer after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we've been talking all about the importance of communication. Now, before the break, I asked you if this was true or false. Talking to yourself is a sign of madness. The answer is actually false. According to an article in CNN, not only is it totally normal, it's also a form of self-preservation and motivation, and how we also learn new things. And they also reported that we begin talking to ourselves as early as 2 years old to instruct ourselves with things. So for example, a toddler may go near a hot surface and say hot, hot, in order to warn itself not to touch the surface. So some food for thought there. And talking about food for thought, we have the lovely Helena Chard, who's going to be discussing communication in the news. Yeah. And also we have this beautiful, amazing, gorgeous cake.
So beautiful.
And this one comes courtesy of Aroma Patisserie in Green Lanes. I mean, look at that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely
so
gorgeous.
Fresh, the fruit.
We need to say it in Greek, Helena, because it's a Greek bakery. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ για αυτό το.
That sounds really impressive.
Beautiful, Gligizman, ευχαριστούμε.
Really good.
So we're going to be trying that in just a moment. But first of all, let's go to the news.
So, in communication, I really enjoyed studying this, as always. And the fact that you said prior to the a little while ago about that is amazing. Gosh. Anyway, so mental health campaigner who we know, Johnny Benjamin, who you interviewed, and so much more actually, he does a lot more. So he spread a message of hope via Twitter the other day, which was really good. And he didn't want to sound sentimental, but he said that a year ago today, this was the other day, that he'd been admitted to a psychiatric unit, but he was very lucky that he had a speedy recovery. It was really, really quick, and he was just really obviously happy with that, but everyone read it and they were so thrilled to hear it, and it sort of gave that hope, raised awareness, and it helped others and kept the conversation going as we do. But
it must just probably opened up a lot quicker this time than in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, so it's just a little tweet. Also, Kate Winslet, Oscar winner Kate Winslet, she was talking about meal times being so important to her and her family. It's the biggest thing that she always makes sure they sit down, they talk, discuss every little bit. I mean, they've done it she's done it with the children since they've been quite young, and they're teenagers now. Well, I think 2 of them are. And she doesn't allow her children to use social media in the house at all. It's a strict rule, and they're really good, and they don't. And even her and her husband, they charge their phones in another room.
That's
so they don't
really
have
good.
Isn't that good?
That is amazing. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that.
I think that's just incredible. Anyway, but she does it really to protect their self-esteem.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different story, but all very good. I have a volcano inside of me.
Oh.
not really, but it's a 6-minute film which helps children talk about mental health.
Okay.
And it's basically what you can do when small things are bothering you, small feelings, and it's a really lovely. It was made by the Anna Freud National Centre, so I think Kate Middleton also sort of introduces it. But it's a Year 6 group of pupils. It's a cartoon, and it features Jay, who's a girl, and she's got bright blue curly hair, and she has these huge, overwhelming feelings. But it's really clever, so I've got a bit of a frog in my throat.
Douse you with cake.
Yes, yes, you wait, I'll have all that fruit. She gets to talk to her friends and her teachers. It's a way of talking, but she talks about how she gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And in the end, it doesn't take everything away, but obviously she realises that by talking, it helps her a lot.
Okay.
People didn't magic everything away, but it helped her change things, and it was good not to feel on her own. But that's the overall thing that's been shown in schools, which is amazing. Good. Really, very good. Students enjoying giving seniors, as they're known as, elderly, computer lessons, cooking for them and chatting and hanging out. Now this was actually a while ago where a Dutch student contacted a local nursing home when his digs at uni, this is in the Netherlands, came too much. And it then became a proper setup where something like so there's 160 senior citizens, and quite a few, I don't know how many of them went from the university, but they had to give up 30 hours a month to help and just chat and just really have a good time. And it's really worked out well, and they're sort of rolling it out as well, and thinking about how elderly people can be housed sort of in more community feelings, whether it's near shopping malls or whatever, so that it's obviously to combat loneliness, which is fantastic, isn't it?
I don't know, while you're reading the last one.
Oh, you're going to cook.
I'm going to start taking off.
I've got so many more. Where do I start? I'm going to do this one. Bake Off's Ruby Tando.
Oh, Bake Off.
Yeah, I think it's an ideal one, exactly. Now, she was the runner-up for GBBO, and she says that sharing meals with friends has helped her talk about her mental health. Oh, that's nice. Which is an interesting concept, isn't it? And she's got a new book called Eat Up, and it's the positive effect that food has on her depression. So she can start conversations with her friends and families, but it's vice versa.
Okay.
She finds that cooking for friends and friends cooking for her is quite therapeutic, and it's a time to talk.
Yeah, everyone has their ways.
I know. I thought that was quite simple. And I will,
Should we try and cut this cake? It's so big. I don't even know where to start.
Miles away from
I think I might have to take some of the fruit off the top actually to cut this. Let me try. Let me just take this.
Strawberry.
Pineapple. Let me just put that on the side there.
Isn't that
okay,
lovely?
So let me try and show everybody this. I hope it just doesn't fall apart. Okay. There we go. Do you want to get your plate ready, Helena? Here's your pineapple.
Here's my pineapple.
There's lots of grapes in here as well. Wow. Okay. Are you ready, everybody?
So
you can have that as well.
Oh, thank you.
I don't want it to fall apart.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that. There you go, my lovely. That looks absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Let's not lose those grapes. Way, and they stay
actually, they're really stuck in here. Look.
And blueberries.
And thank you once again to Aroma Patisserie in Green Lane. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and I can't wait to try it. So Helena, enjoy your cake.
I will.
Thank you so much for the news, and we'll see you again next week. I'm going to have mine in just a moment, because now it's time for me to talk about some tips on how to communicate better with your partner. So let's get straight to my tips. So the first one is to find the right time to talk. Now, if you do want to discuss something and sort any problems out, it's not the best thing, for example, to try and talk in the middle of an argument or when you're both really tired. So it's important to put some time aside with no interruptions and already make a commitment that the aim of your talk is to actually find a way to work together and be on the same team and not be against each other. So once you have, a day and a time in mind, you can already kind of prepare yourself mentally as well. The second point is that don't assume that you know everything. Sometimes when we're with our partners for a while, we kind of tend to think, well, I know everything about them. I don't really need to have this talk. But don't go into this conversation that you've already arranged with preconceived ideas. You may think you know everything there is to know, but trust me, you don't. Now, you might have been, as I said, with your partner for many years, but there may be actually things in their past that haven't been discussed before, or things have happened even recently that have caused a change in a person. We all change over time. So when you do get together, really listen to what your partner is saying without interrupting, and don't react badly. If you actually hear something that you don't like, it was probably very difficult for your partner maybe to open up about something, and they knew maybe that it would upset you, but try not to react badly. Just try and listen till the end, and really like take in what the person's saying, because you be surprised, you might learn a lot about your partner that you really didn't know. The third point is to take responsibility for your own part. Now, this one is very important. Resist the temptation to actually explain or justify yourself. Now, I remember that, anytime I tried to do this, our talk would end up in an argument with my husband. So if your partner has some things to say about you, just listen to it. I know it's difficult to kind of hear about your mistakes and things that are maybe getting on your partner's nerves, but if you're going to solve anything, you really do need to listen to their part as well. So be there and understand their point of view, rather than trying to show that you're perfect. And I'll give you an example. Don't you actually like it when someone has enough humility to actually admit their mistakes and say sorry, rather than just find an excuse and justify themselves? And this can go through, with every relationship that you have, maybe with your friends, your work colleagues, your manager, anyone, your employees. When someone actually apologizes about something, or admits that they've done something wrong, rather than trying to cover up and lie about the mistakes, you respect the person much more. You really do. And I don't think it affects that relationship. I think it enhances that relationship, because there's actually more trust there, I believe. The next point is to be patient. So it might take a few conversations to actually solve things. Sometimes, depending on the severity of how things have gone wrong, it could take several conversations, and over a longer period, maybe you're going to have to bring someone else, like a professional or someone that you trust, that has a good relationship, to actually help you out as well. So be patient. It's very, very important. Don't just give up because maybe the first conversation didn't go well, or the second. Keep at it, persevere, because maybe you haven't had these problems all the time. Something has come in and disrupted your relationship, or something has kind of fallen by the wayside. You didn't really maybe take care of your relationship as you should have done. So it will take a bit of time to repair as well. And the fifth point that I'd like to cover is to appreciate the small changes. Now, don't expect your partner or even yourself to change radically overnight and everything, to be really good again. But also don't kind of think that the small changes are insignificant. Maybe for you see a small change in your partner and you think, oh, is that it? Couldn't have made a bit more effort? Maybe for them that was a huge effort. You don't know. Maybe that took a lot out of them to make that small change, to maybe talk in a different way. I don't know what the change would be, but it might have actually taken a lot for that person to get to that point. So don't kind of belittle them and say, oh, is that it? Be thankful for the small changes, because if you actually encourage that and say, oh, babe, I noticed that you did this and I really liked it. If you actually encourage it, that person, your partner, is going to be more willing to try even harder. But if you kind of shoot them down at the first attempt of any change, then that's not going to actually help your relationship. Well, I hope those points have helped you, and if you have anything that you would like to share on this program, if you have a story that you would like to talk about, or any comments at all, we do love to hear from our viewers. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us @Chrissy B Show, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Until next time, bye for now.